Hi, my name is Sean Shaler. This is my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek. Chris, I'm going to throw him for a loop right out of the gate today. Where can they find you on Twitter?
They can find me at objective underscore geek. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
at
I was waiting on an
at
at. No,
objective underscore geek. Mhm.
I was waiting on an at
Yeah.
AOL.com or something. I always forget that's how Twitter
Yeah.
works. I feel bad because you have this Twitter account that you use. It's not like me where I don't use mine. You use it and then I never talk about it ever. No, objective underscore geek. And then on YouTube, if you found this video, you probably know where he is at. But it is obviously the Objective Geek on YouTube. So I remembered this week, had to get it out of the way right away. Before I forget, welcome to episode 13 of Book One Water. This is a great one. Spoiler alert, it's a great episode. It is called The Blue Spirit. Very exciting. I think I can still remember the first time I saw this episode, to be honest. Not much else surrounding it. I just have a pretty vivid memory of seeing it for the first time and some of those feelings I felt. So very excited about talking about this one.
I really don't.
I mean, in the
Kind of a
grand
blur
scheme
for
of
me.
things, I see how it could be kind of washed over by other episodes, but I really like a lot of stuff about it. I'm spoiling my scores and stuff here, but overall, it's a
Well,
good
I
episode.
hated it.
We
Yeah.
fine, keep your secrets. All right then, keep your secrets. I can't believe that meme's getting big all of a sudden. Lord of the Rings coming back. Anyways, book one, episode 13, The Blue Spirit. Good episode, but before we get into that, of course, we have to talk about some other stuff. Hey, this is out of order. It starts with number 2. That's okay. We can start with number 2. Chris's latest videos. Chris, what movies have you seen and reviewed recently?
I don't think I've seen anything since I have a Castlevania season 2 review up, and then recently the Bohemian Rhapsody up. And then by the time this video comes out, maybe I'll have a review up of Instant Family, starring Mark Wahlberg. So
I think I will get
check,
this video
look out
up
for that.
on Monday. So you got a whole weekend's worth of videos to
I'll
throw stuff
probably have
out.
it up.
Yeah, throw it down. All right, so go watch those videos, and then number 1, I wanted to talk about this first. Apparently, PowerPoint wanted me to talk to you first. I saw The Crimes of Grindelwald yesterday. That's only important because I saw a movie before you saw it, and I don't go to the movie theaters, but my wife and I are big Harry Potter fans. So, Crimes of Grindelwald, it was okay. Good movie. Good movie. Maybe not a great impact in the grand scheme of things, but that does not mean it was not good and enjoyable on its own. I do think when we see the whole series, we're going to come back to this one and be like, that wasn't very important, but still a good movie. And hopefully you'll go see it, and then you can put out a video, because I'm not going to make a video, let's be honest. And then, of course, I think I think it's almost mandatory we have to mention that Stan Lee passed away this week. Unfortunately, thoughts with his family, as are many thoughts of many nerds all around the world. I will say that if there's one good thing to come of this, I've seen a strong push for Deadpool to start taking his place by making the cameos in all the movies. I would get on board with that.
No, yeah, I saw that meme today, but they probably won't do it.
Meme,
The thing is,
this is a huge push on every social media platform available. It's people putting their favorite Deadpool costumes. My favorite is the Bob Ross Deadpool. I would love to look for like a Where's Waldo Bob Ross Deadpool in every single Marvel movie. I think that'd be amazing. I don't think it'll happen either. It's just let's
the thing
try.
is, I'm not a huge fan of those cameos. Like they're good cameos, none, without question. It's just that they kind of take you out of the movie. Like, like sometimes the movie just really enthrall you in them. But then when that happens, it takes you out of the movie and makes you think, oh, this is a movie. This isn't, I'm not living in this right now. But regardless, Stan Lee's impact on culture in general is without doubt one of the biggest impacts. I mean, I'm wearing a Black Panther shirt right now. Even though I don't love the Marvel Cinematic Universe like other people do, I love a lot of the movies, but I do absolutely love X-Men and I love Spider-Man. Those are two characters that really speak to me. I mean, X-Men is just an allegory for racism and sexism and homophobia. And Spider-Man is a kid who's just trying to make it. And the thing Stan Lee did so well was humanize these characters, and that is still felt all throughout. You know, ever since he did that, Marvel, that's been their imprint, is that characters first and to humanize them. So yeah, so yeah, and the thing is, I'm not, you know, I don't think this took anyone off guard. He was 95, lived a little long, great, very successful life. So just glad to his legacy continue to live on, and I know it will, in not only in movies and in comic books and TV, but also in the hearts of geeky nerds everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm not particularly huge into comic books or Marvel, to be honest. A little bit more DC heavy. I do love the X-Men movies. Love Spider-Man: Homecoming, so I'm with you on that. No, Spider-Man.
I know. I'm glad you're being honest, because I know you don't love Spider-Man.
I mostly hate Spider-Man, except I got to play a little bit of that PS4 game, like 5 minutes. It was amazing. I almost bought a PS4, and then I remembered I can't buy a PS4. It was amazing, and then I love Spider-Man 2 on PS2. So he makes good video games, to be fair. But the point I'm trying to get at is I'm on the lower end of nerds in terms of who actually is impacted by Stan Lee. But obviously, even me, outsiders, understand the impact he had on the entire film and comic book industry in the past, I don't know, however many years, however many decades. Yeah. And so it's very important.
And real quick, I mean, sometimes Marvel and DC fans, like, they have this weird war against each other, like this, and it's not a lot of them. It's a minority of them. And some people like to playfully dig at Marvel or dig at DC. The thing that I remember is that Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, co-creator of Batman, Bill Finger also created Batman, was best friends with Stan Lee. Like, they were legit best friends. I think one of them was the best man at the other's wedding. When Bob Kane talking about Batman, and Bob Kane was like, Spider-Man will never be bigger than Batman. Like, Spider-Man will never be big.
Did he present the same scenario we did? Like, what if it's outside a city? How's it going to help anything?
Maybe. And then Bob Kane died, of course. And then Stan Lee was like, I only wish you would have lived long enough to see Spider-Man come out in theaters and beat all these box office of Batman.
That one scene, you called it right after you saw Homecoming in theaters. I think it must have been on opening night, because I think we talked about it on a Friday. And you're like, Sean, there's one scene in there that's like all of your feelings wrapped up about Spider-Man in one scene, and it just kind of rectifies all of Spider-Man. And I was like, all right, so I'll watch it. And then a few days later, I cheated and I streamed it online, and I saw that scene. I was like, all right, you win, Spider-Man. You win this round. Great scene. I could probably spoil it, but I won't. It's probably past spoiler time. But anyway, Stan Lee's passing. Literally the entire world was very sad to see him go. But obviously he'd had a pretty good life up to this point. So
yeah.
With that, Chris, question. Mello to a California team.
No.
This is very important to me. Any of them,
sure,
not specifically yours, just any of them.
The Kings, fine.
That was my first thought. Mello to the Kings. Kings, not afraid to spend money on veterans. Not afraid to spend money on veterans. Semi-competitive this year. He could use some playmaking. Could use some mid-range shot this year.
Yeah, he wouldn't come off the bench.
No, he would probably start and fit in okay there.
Yeah, he'll probably be the second best player.
I'll give him third. But the point is that he would be a very strong fit for that team. And I honestly thought maybe the Clippers too, but I think their organization is a little too well put together to try to introduce Melo. I think the Kings would maybe take a chance on that before they did. Anyway, we had to talk about it. I couldn't help it. Maybe he'll go to the Lakers and destroy your favorite locker room. I don't know. Probably not.
Let's not do that.
Probably not. Chris, any cleanup from last week's episode, which was the storm?
I meant to look up at it. Oh, Zuko's mom definitely was in the flashback of that like going back and forth thing. And then I forgot to look up something else, but yeah, that's the only thing I got.
I got to be honest, I took out one of your sneezes. So I kind of listen to these things at work, and then I do some of the editing on YouTube. YouTube lets you cut out minor things. So I caught one or two of your sneezes and coughs and got rid of them. But I know there was a third one in there somewhere, and I must have just like not been paying attention when it happened. So somewhere in there, there's a lingering
Say
sneeze.
I watched it pretty soon after you posted it, and I noticed like there was some coughs left in there.
I never gonna try to get them all from time
Yeah,
consumption
there was a
standpoint.
whole segment where I tried to cover up the microphone, and it were to no avail.
That one should be gone. The one where you covered up, and
Okay.
then I made fun of you, and I said, I think you did
Yes,
way more. I could swear I cut that one
that
out.
was in there but I did watch it immediately after you posted, so I don't know when you updated it.
Maybe that's
But
the missing cough. Maybe I thought I cut it out, but I was just laughing, and then I didn't actually do the editing. That could be it. Anyway, it was a pretty good episode in every respect, and it was a good talk. One of our better discussions so far, I think. No other cleanup, I don't think. It was a pretty solid episode.
yeah.
So that brings me to the synopsis. We are, to the best of my knowledge, we're still in the Earth Kingdom. We just left that town where they essentially Sokka got a job on a fishing boat, and then there was a horrible storm, and then we had these flashbacks from Aang and Zuko, and so it was a very short amount of passage of time. I guess feels like a long time, very short passage of time, but we're still just in the Earth Nation. I gotta be honest, I'm not real sure where. I don't know what our proximity is to Ba Sing Se or anything like that. But I think we're getting closer to, if memory serves me right, I think we're getting closer to that point. Right now, we are just holed up in an abandoned, I don't know, an abandoned building of some type where Sokka and
It's like it's kind of like it's a whole village that's been abandoned. Because there's a lot around it. There's a lot of statues, a lot of homes.
you're
There's
right, and
badger
there's
mole
kind of
statues.
stuff outside and inside, like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, a community of some type. And basically, we are
Yeah, but I don't
here.
think anyone lives there though.
Yeah, abandoned. And we're here because Sokka got sick from being out in the storm that whole time. And then Katara's getting sick as well, so Aang's got to go find a cure while they hang out and rest. And that was my brilliant synopsis. That brings us to our current episode, The Blue Spirit. I'm just going to put all these
Yeah,
up
it starts
here so
off
we can
with
read them.
okay. Starts off with Commander Zhao looking at the Yuyan archers, which are an elite group of archers in the Fire Nation who are so good they can pin a fly to a tree like 30 yards away without killing it. And he wants them to help him catch the Avatar. And the guy who's like in control of him is like, nah, you don't get him. And then they get this message saying that that Commander Zhao has been promoted to Admiral. And then I do like the line that he says like, my request is now command. And the dude is like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that guy gets he gets a raven or whatever combination of two flying animals it is. He gets a raven, and then he's reading it. And I was like, if I was that guy, I'd just like tear it up real quick and throw it away. So then
What do you
Zhao's
have
like,
there?
what was that?
Nothing.
Just stuff it in your mouth real quick. Mostly because I hate Zhao. But yeah, it's kind of a cool line where he's just like, that request is now a command.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of who Zhao is.
And like other people are learning of his promotion before him. Like, is that how they do promotions in the Fire Nation?
Do you just send ravens out to everywhere that Zhao might be and hope that he gets that letter?
Oh, and one thing I do love about that scene, real quick, is that like some people in the Fire Nation think that capturing the Avatar is some like folktale. Like people don't care about it. I mean, he says like, "I'm trying to fight a real war here. Like you're just off chasing fairy tales or whatever he says." But then him getting promoted shows that the Fire Nation's priorities have shifted their focus onto finding the Avatar. Hence why Zhao got promoted.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody has seen the same proof that Zhao has seen yet, or that Zhao or Zuko have seen yet. So they're working off hearsay. So I get it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of already mentioned everyone getting sick just from being out in the storm. So then this abandoned village, while Aang goes out to try to find a cure from a healer down in the valley.
Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty much all with that so far. So then Zhao, Iroh and Zuko learn about Zhao's promotion, and Iroh says, "Oh, good for him." Something along those lines. Just love Uncle Iroh.
Maybe they're interested in an exciting game of Pai Sho or something when the ships pull up together.
Yeah, which he is playing Pai Sho, which if you look at it, he is using the White Lotus tile right there. Like they've dropped White Lotus things all over this place.
And he is hustling
I'm just not picking up that one.
He is hustling some noobs also. What a jerk. Iroh trying to con people.
Yeah. He's a master of like the secret society dedicated to this one piece.
That he uses it to make it look like he don't even know how to play. Like, oh, I use the White Lotus. He could probably beat me.
Yeah. One thing I do like about that scene that carries over from the previous episode of The Storm is that Zuko's underlings are now, they seem to be more with him on capturing Avatar. Like he is like talking with him, the guy who had confrontation with Zuko in The Storm. It's like, oh, we head here, the Avatar's here, the Avatar's here, maybe we head here. Like he is taking a more proactive approach because he gets why Zuko wants to find the Avatar now. So it's good like, hey, they're on the same page.
That's good chemistry on that ship. It's not the kind of ship I would want to bring Mello on board with. It's good chemistry right now.
Yeah, it's true. So then Aang has to leave to up to a village that he knows there might be, or a hill that he knows there might be like a cure or something for them being sick. And Katara needs like water because both her and Sokka are sick, and she continues to ask Momo to bring her things. Like, and Momo brings her this whole laundry list of stuff. Like,
by the end, it's amazing. It keeps cutting back to this, and there's just a bigger pile of stuff each time.
Yes.
And by the end,
he's brought her a crown. The funniest thing was like one of the first things. He brought her a dead rat. Like, I'm just imagining Momo like scavenging throughout. Like, oh yeah, this is what she needs.
This gotta be it.
Dead rat.
That last one when Momo comes back and she's just like slouched and her crown's kind of casually askew on her head, and she's like, no. Oh, that's great. And I know we kind of jumped ahead, but not in anything pivotal there. So great side story there. Good work, Momo. You're trying your best, buddy.
And then so Aang, he has to go on foot there because there's a storm. He might get shot by lightning. And one thing we do notice, which I'm going to consider this a sub-bending, is that airbenders can run at like the speed of something. I don't know exactly what the speed is. It looks like
the speed of wind.
30 miles, 40 miles per hour or something like that.
It's a very impressive speed.
Yeah, no, he is. Like, he legit looks fast. I feel like he doesn't use it all that often. He uses it fairly enough that they didn't just like have this one time he did it. He does it again, but he doesn't. I guess he doesn't have to run long distances. Like, to me, Aang is fast and in long stretches rather than like lightning quick. Like, it's not like the Flash. That's a bad comparison because the Flash is both really quick and really fast.
Flash is gonna win that race, of course. We're not trying to bash you. It's the first time. I think it's the first time that we've seen it in this fashion. We see him do it more later on, and there's other things that give you the impression that he has this sort of super agility that's aided by bending. But I think this is the first time we see him just kind of straight line speeding it.
Yeah. And then, so then he gets to the herbalist, which old people recently have just like episode after episode have been having these standout performances,
crushing it. Old people killing it.
Yeah. Like, Aang rushes to this place, and she looks like she is in a rush. Like, she knows like he's in a rush, and she's stirring up this like medicine or something. Then Aang grabs it. She's like, "No, that's food for my cat." And then
like,
because Aang tries to take it.
It's like lavender or something. I was like, "A cat? Is your cat a vegetarian?" Because I know a lot of cats, and ain't none of them vegans. That's for sure.
No, they are legit carnivores.
They are
They are
carnivores.
hunters.
They will eat you alive if it catches their fancy. But sorry, I'm a dog person. What can I say?
Well, yeah. Um, then then she tells him what he needs to do. He needs to go get some frogs. And he's like, some frozen frogs from his farm. What do I do with those? They suck on them, of course.
What
You're
else
crazy,
would you
aren't you?
do?
Yeah. Then Ango's like, you crazy, aren't you? Uh-huh. I don't know. Old people are funny.
But
Crazy old
make
people.
sure you do it before they thaw out, or they're totally useless. Like,
Yes. Which that does build in, like, in movies, there's sort of sometimes there's this, especially in third act, there's a ticking time bomb. And it's like, we have to do this before this happens. And so Aang has that in this case. Like, he needs to get back to his friends in time because they have to suck on these frozen frogs. So it's a nice, like, it's a nice ticking time bomb that isn't necessarily like a bomb, like a literal bomb that happens in most movies.
I think the frozen frogs raise more questions than answers. How'd they get frozen? Are they still alive? Is it on purpose? Do they mean to get frozen? Why is the water so cold when Aang catches him? They're in the middle of Earth Kingdom. It should be fine.
I think they just, I mean, we're in fall right now. We're heading into winter. Like, headed into winter. No, we're in
I'm
winter
not sure
now.
seasonally what time we're at.
I think we're kind of in winter right now. Although the seasons probably work completely differently than our world.
It's true. We shouldn't have to confine the Avatar seasons to our own schedule. He's reaching down and he's pulling these frozen frogs out of like the mud and stuff. I'm like, the water is always warmer down there below, like when it gets cold outside. Something wrong with these frogs. That's all I'm saying. These frogs, they got problems. Yeah. Whatever.
So while he's looking for the frogs, he gets attacked by these archers, and I love this scene visually.
Oh, it's
one
great.
thing. This whole episode tonally looks like someone just put a giant shadow over it, and things somehow became a little crispier.
Spoiler alert: we both liked this episode's look and feel quite a bit.
Yeah, and yeah, when the wind is blowing, like Aang's shirt's blowing in the wind, the grass is blowing. It looks amazing. It looks great. And then he gets attacked by the archers, and Aang, and they're all shooting their arrows at him, and he just like uses airbending and gets rid of them. And his first thing is like, I think you dropped this. Like, Aang is always optimistic.
Very positive spin on everything. It's a great scene though. I love how the archers pin him when they do actually catch him and pin him up, and it's very, very detailed. Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
They kind of pin him one arm at a time.
Yeah. So they so the chase down the mountain, everything that was done great, and like you can see, like, wow, these archers who aren't benders at all are keeping up with Aang, who's an airbender, who's like the most agile person literally on the planet. And and they pin him to. They first Aang shoots up some ice, and like the arrow just goes, and then just like for them to work in unison, to just have one arrow after the other, and then finally break them and then capture them. That was just a great chase scene.
It's like when you throw up that shield in Smash Bros, but you're playing 7-player brawl, and there's just like 4 or 5 guys that just beat the shield out of you right away, just in perfect unison. He's got that ice.
I don't need the shield.
That's what you think, Chris Ford. That's what it reminded me of. Is like you get up that shield, and as soon as you throw it up, it's just and then it's gone. And then I felt really bad for him. But anyways.
So then Aang gets captured.
Yeah, again. What are we on, like time 2 at least, if not 3? I kind of forget. He gets captured a few times. Again, cool visual imagery.
Yeah, and
great. It's not like I mean, obviously it's very red, but I think there's more detail in this particular Fire Nation ship at this point. It feels more, I don't know, deeper, more textured maybe than it has in the past. At least it stood out to me.
Yeah, and they're not Yeah, and they're not in the ship. They're in like some type of Foundation stronghold, like a
Oh yeah, yeah.
fort. Yeah.
That's right. It's the fort where the archers are being trained, whatever that one is called. I don't know if they ever say a name.
Yeah, I don't know what the fort's called, but
Stronghold. That's good. We'll call it a stronghold. That's a good word.
but the thing I do love about that scene with Aang being captured is that this is our first time with Aang and Zhao meeting each other. And we've seen Zhao like be antagonistic, but mostly towards Zuko. Now Aang is meeting Zhao like the enemy of my enemy. You know
But
that
he's
type
not
of
your friend.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get to that. Um, and Zhao's really cutting deep here. Like he says, like, do you know about your own past people and how you know, they died and everything, and then he says, like, well, don't worry, we're not gonna kill you because if we did that, you would just be born into that cycle. Then we have to start our search all over again. And Zhao's really a jerk in that. Like, there's these comic books where Zhao actually captures Aang again.
Aang, use the
after this.
wheels, man. We've seen him get away,
But
dude.
this one is actually worse. Like, well, it's not worse. It's more heartbreaking, I think, because Zhao uses the Foundation plants people to say that there's airbenders here and airbenders here and there, and like other airbenders would go search for them, but then it'll be a trap and they will kill them.
That's a jerk move.
And so yeah, so Aang fell into that trap. Like he got trapped by Zhao, and then it was just really sad. Like at the end of it, he gets away and everything, and Katara says like, "Oh, I'm sure that." Like he also he goes off on this mission by himself, or he goes off by himself, and Katara says like, "Oh, I'm sure like other airbenders would have thought this would have attracted other airbenders would have came here," and then Aang like Sally says, "Yeah, some actually did," knowing that like it was a kind of a dark comic that I wish they would have shown into a movie, but it would have been maybe a little repetitive. Not a movie, but an episode.
Too heavy for the show. Too deep.
Yeah.
Seriously, Joe, that's harsh, man.
So now Blue Spirit comes in, and we saw Blue Spirit earlier, which we forgot to mention when Commander Zhao was being promoted to Admiral. He was just looking over, and right now we don't know who the Blue Spirit is, but he comes in kind of ominous like, and
And I
he
think they do a good
cuts
job
Aang
of
out.
not really giving any hints in particular. Like to this point, you might have a guess, but
Yeah, like
there's no real
you've
hints there.
seen everybody.
Yeah,
There's no hints.
so that's good. I like that. At least.
Yeah, so pretty much like a whole freaking fight ensues. A very long, it feels like it's a 4 minutes at least, where Aang and the Blue Spirit are just working together to escape. And
4 minutes of
and this scene
awesome.
is
They're fighting together. They're coordinating.
yeah.
They well, sometimes they're coordinating. Other times they are hostage.
Yes. Aang is using ladders to move from one place to another. Um, it's a really just great action scene.
It's like a video
Um,
game. There's one like he's leaping from one ladder that's falling over onto another ladder that's falling the opposite
yeah.
direction and pushing that forward. It's a lot of
And
fun.
so in my casting video for Avatar Last Airbender on Netflix, I said that I want Jackie Chan as Uncle Iroh for two things. One thing, he'll be a great Uncle Iroh, um, and also he knows martial arts, like he's an expert. But not only that, but he does choreography and he directs movies. And the way Jackie Chan directs things is like he uses objects all around and uses them in such a creative manner that I think he would be a good fit to direct like this little portion, at least of this episode, because he's really creative and the way Aang and Zuko escapes from here is really creative. Like he freaking makes like a helicopter with a stick. He uses his ladders. He uses pretty much everything to his disposal.
This is the scene that you pitched to Jackie Chan.
Yes, yeah. pretty much.
Yeah, and
If I
then
ever see Jackie Chan,
toss him this one, be like, hey, you need to choreograph this in the movie that I'm gonna fund. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be huge. Gonna be huge. It does, and it ends uh, pretty dramatically too, I would say. So the Blue Spirit, eventually they kind of got the Blue Spirit and Aang cornered, and then Zhao mentions something about taking the Avatar alive, and then the Blue Spirit takes him hostage, and Zhao decides not to risk it and lets him back away.
yeah, he has one of the archers shoot him down when he has a clear shot, and I do love that sound of like the freaking arrow just getting hit up against his mask, and like it makes like a freaking church bell sound almost. And with the arrow, there's like you said, the and just
And it's not. I mean, when we whistle, it makes it sound comical. It's not comical at all. It's a very natural, gratifying sound. It's the kind of sound you can just listen to over and over again. Very good sound effects in the whole episode. I'm raving. And that knocks him out cold. But then Aang has a chance to see who he's dealing with.
And he sees it's Zuko, which
all right, there it is. Woo! There's the
sorry.
review. I had it all ready. No, it's cool. Well, that's kind of how it is
So
in
were
the show
you-
too. You're not really ready. You're not really ready for it when it happens. Then you see the side, like the side of the scar underneath the mask. You're like, oh, that makes sense.
I watched this such a long time ago that I don't remember being surprised by this. Do you know if you were surprised?
I do remember being surprised. I watched
Nice.
the first whole book. I watched in very rapid succession with very little background. So in that sense, it did take me off guard. I probably didn't invest a whole lot of thought or anything to it yet. And then, I don't know. I think it took me by surprise. It took me a little unprepared. Not the other people in the room with me because they had both seen it before. So they were kind of teasing me for it. But yeah, I think the first time caught me at least a little off guard. A little. I'll give it that. And then, but yeah, it is Zuko. And Aang heals him up, and it's kind of cute there. Not heals him up. Aang drags him to safety, essentially, and stays with him until he kind of comes to. And you can tell Aang's having a real deep conversation with himself up there in the tree.
Yeah.
About
It's
losing all of his old friends, and it's very sad.
yeah. No, definitely. I mean, he says like I think he missed most. He used to visit the Fire Nation. Had his friend Kuzan. They were best friends, and Aang is so optimistic. Like he's so hopeful. Like he says like, "Do you think we lived in a different time? We would be best friends."
But that's the part
Zuko
that gets
doesn't-
me, is that it's realistic. He says if we lived in a different... He's not trying to win Zuko over right now. He understands circumstance. He's not being stupid about it, I guess. Like, it might be kind of naive, but I think it's... I don't know. I think it's very deep the way he asked it. Like, he was aware enough to say, in a different time, in a world that wasn't at war, would we be friends? Maybe not, because Zuko's kind of grumpy. But, other than that...
No, it's a great scene, and Zuko doesn't respond immediately. Like there's some little bit of time that passes.
There is
Because I think maybe he even thinks about it.
a deliberate pause.
Yeah, and when this happened, I think I was expecting him to say like something sly or something like maybe, but no. And then he firebends at him, but he says nothing. And it's more so firebending like, "We're done here." Like, I did what I had to do.
Right, it doesn't really feel like a lethal shot. It's like, all right, we're not going to talk about this ever again.
Yeah.
I did this because
again.
Zhao is a monster, and that's it. Well, and for still selfish reasons, right? If Zhao captures the Avatar, then Zuko never gets to go home. But, it doesn't feel like
I forgot to mention
like a mortal firebending shot.
Yeah. I forgot to mention one scene which I loved is like Zuko's talking to Iroh, and Iroh's like, "You can still capture him before Zhao does." And he's like, "How, Uncle?" Like he sincerely is like, he feels a little bit of sadness at this point. It's like, how am I going to do this? Like I just
kind of
overwhelmed.
Zhao.
Honor back. I want my country back. I want my life back. And then so you come to find out what means is Zuko willing to go to. Like, he's not doing this because he really believes, and he's not doing this because he hates Aang or he wants to kill him or something. He just wants to do this because he literally just wants his life back.
There's like I'm telling you, it's like you feel an overwhelmed child looking at a parent or a father figure in this case, and you kind of feel for him for the second-ish time, maybe second or third time you feel for Zuko. It's a pretty touching scene.
Yeah,
I don't really remember.
I think it's the second time.
Pretty early. It's pretty early in the episode because it's when he finds out that Zhao has all these new resources with which to chase the Avatar.
And I think there was some great stuff done with just the subtleness and the animation with Zuko's eyes. And oftentimes, I think there's a lot of great animation done with Zuko's eyes, which is weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to focus on.
Yeah, why don't you just call out his scar to his face, Chris? Rub it in a little more.
Well, I mean, both his eyes, because. But I don't know, it just has like a bit of just like loneliness and despair.
He doesn't
almost
show emotion in a lot of ways, but when it comes through in the animations of his eyes.
Yeah.
At least
which I will highlight the other times that his eyes are big points for me. But.
Oh, and you're gonna with that one, if you're thinking the same one I am, you're gonna incite some fans and some fan theories. I'm trying to remember is that the one I'm thinking of? Maybe. Well, you'll have to keep watching and find out. But if we're thinking of the same one, it's gonna incite some fan theories. We're gonna encourage and inspire. But all disappointments aside, this episode has a very happy ending because Aang and Zuko are both safe. And Aang does find some frozen tree frogs, and he gets back and shoves them into Katara and Sokka's mouths, and they're healed like instantly. Which, another question about this homeopathic remedy, but whatever. I'll let the frogs pass because I like the rest of the episode enough. And I think that's all that happens. I think they suck on the frogs, and all is well.
Yeah, that's it.
And so, Chris, real quick before we moved into our ratings. I've done some like kind of commercial-ish things in here, and it's okay, but I just keep running into things that I want. I thought, well, that's silly. We should go to things that you already have because you have a treasure trove of Avatar merch. So
another merch.
Yeah, but... and so this was the first piece that we thought we would show off.
Yeah, this is honestly my favorite statue. This is my favorite toy. This is one that sometimes I eyeball statues for like a year or months, and one day I
not in your house
when
you're looking to buy them. You don't just sit in your house for a month like just that's a good statue. No, in your statue looking to purchase.
Yeah, and then it's usually around $120. I think the regular retail is $150, and right now on Amazon you can get it for $120. I think there's one left, so hurry up.
I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 other beings and very little room, so I'll have to pass for now. But it does look very nice.
The thing is, this is a limited edition statue. There are only 750 in the world. I have 697.
See, you got it towards the end when they got real good. When they got real good at carving it up, that's when you got yours. So it's pristine.
It is. This is my most fragile statue. Also,
what's it made?
It is made of porcelain.
No kidding.
Porcelain. Yeah.
For just a minute, I thought it looked kind of like a soapstone almost. I mean, it's probably too blue for that, but it's kind of what it reminded me of. It kind of does.
But yeah. So also the statue is from Legend of Korra. I feel like this Aang is like probably 20-something years old. Like, it's before he has a beard, but he looks fairly tall, maybe 17.
I'm
gonna go with
it's pre-dad Aang. That's definitely. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have a beard yet. I'm definitely gonna go with probably when they founded Republic City, so probably about when he's 15 years old.
And that is where the statue is located. Is the statue in Republic City?
Yes,
Yeah,
which Aang and Zuko founded.
excellent.
But that is like it's my favorite statue. I bought it for like 90 something dollars. When it came in, my wife was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a statue."
Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Yeah, don't
about
worry
it.
about it.
It's none of your
I
damn
tried to get
business.
like
That's what it is.
I tried to get PVC statues, which is like more like a plastic,
Yeah.
because they don't break. Like I have a core statue that's plastic,
Safer, cheaper.
but like all these Justice League statues are porcelain, and then I have one Batman statue that is porcelain, and that one broke. I had to. It was fine that one broke, the Batman one, because I bought it broke anyway for like $19, and it was a regular $100 and something dollars. But that one fell because I like threw it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Had to glue it back, but hopefully this one never breaks.
Well, it's gonna be
I really
it's
like
protected up there on the shelf by Appa and Cora, so it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, nice. Well, and that was way more interesting to me than finding random toys off the internet that I want to purchase. So thank you for sharing your goodies. Before we go on to our ratings.
All right, ratings. Audiovisual gave this a 9. I thought, like we've been through before, the chase scene was done so well. The action in this episode was done particularly well, even though there wasn't all that much bending in it. Just shows what type of range that the creators and the animators can deal with. Like they don't need to show off with fancy powers and stuff. Like just people being BAs is good enough.
Yeah.
And then that scene with when they're capturing him, like the wind and stuff. For some reason, I just love that scene. And so I gave it a 9. Story, I almost gave story a 7.5 because you can.
Harsh.
The thing is, you could take this episode away, and it would not change.
It would change
much.
Admiral Zhao's career trajectory, Chris.
I guess so. Yes, sorry.
Don't take that away from him.
But the thing I love most about this episode that increased the story aspect was learning what means Zuko was willing to go to still try and get his honor back. Like he was willing to let Aang go so he can capture himself. And then that scene before I spoke about when he's just like, how am I going to do this, Uncle? Like I just want my honor back. I want my country back. Like just my heir to the throne back. Like I just loved all that aspect of it. Aang's side, I did like him being very melancholy at the end. But he doesn't necessarily, this part of the story doesn't necessarily inform Aang all that much. It does a lot to inform Zuko. And of course, Katara and Sokka's had nothing to do for like the past few episodes.
They have been pretty quiet, but that's all right.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen from time to time.
And then memorable, I gave an 8. It is a very memorable episode, but like I said, I don't remember the first time I watched it necessarily. And story wise, like if I happen, I won't feel like I'm out of the loop if I didn't pay attention when I'm watching this. Like I don't feel like I have to pay attention to this episode as much as I have to pay attention to other episodes. Like there's other moments, other episodes where I'm just focused in on that moment. And this episode doesn't really have that, but it's still a great, memorable episode, so I'll give it an 8. And that gives me out to 8.4.
That's a good episode.
Really liked it.
Yeah, that's a very solid score.
It is. Yeah.
And we were pretty close on this one in every respect. Audio visual 8.5. I thought about giving it a 9 even because there's lots of subtle musical undertones in this one that we don't always get. Yeah, lots of. We've already talked a ton about the animation, the scenes that aren't necessarily even the escape scene. Like it's not a fight scene; it's a chase, it's an escape, and there's not a ton of crazy bending, but there's so much other stuff going on. So I probably should have given it higher, but great audiovisual episode. Story, I went 8.5. This one I was pretty set there, 8.5, kind of for the same reasons that you were. It is a very good standalone piece of storytelling. Like if I wanted to show somebody else, hey, this is what Avatar is all about, you probably couldn't pull this one out because you'd really confuse them with the whole Zuko thing. But it just is it's a very interesting standalone story. And then I also think it it pushes forward, maybe for me even more than the last episode, I think it pushes forward the character development, or at least how you view Zuko and Zhao and Iroh and this internal conflict within the Fire Nation. And that's the part where I think it does drive forward, drive home some larger plot points. So not an amazing story, but still a very good story. And then I do remember this one, but I remember being a little surprised. I'm trying to think of if we like maybe cut off our evening, like if we'd watched, we might have binged all 13 of these first episodes together. And this might have been like the cutoff where it's like, whoa, Zuko's a blue spirit. This is too much for me. I got to cut it off and go to bed. It could have been a case like that. It honestly could have been. It was in college, and at the time I was an RA, so I didn't have anywhere to go. You know how that works. And then, I do. And I was watching.
Watch Avatar.
You're stuck inside. You got to watch Avatar. And so I was watching with other RAs, and like I said, we binged this first section really quickly, this first whole chunk. And this is one of two or three that just always kind of sticks out in my mind. And I think it's probably because I was caught a little off guard, because I did finally, between this episode and the last one, I started feeling positivity for Zuko and things like that. That brings me out to an 8.7. And I'm going to go ahead and say ahead of time that I did not change the next slide. I don't know why, but our average score is actually an 8.5, which there's a very good average score. Chris, if you want to find out how high that ranks in our average score is 8.5, you should keep watching this podcast that you're part of making, because someday we're going to do a video, maybe at the end of the first season. We'll do a couple of first season.
What I want to do at the end of the first season is that I want to have an actual review of The Last Airbender. Like, I feel like I need... The movie? I feel like as the... Yes.
Are you going to make me watch it?
The objective geek. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Okay. Fine. That's all right.
I think, like, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I feel like for therapy-wise, like, I need to come to terms with this. For me to move on, one thing with M. Night Shyamalan and also the Netflix show, I need to fully give my thoughts and be realistic and be objective about this movie. So maybe we can also do that.
You know what? I think I will actually be moderately helpful in the fact that I'm probably one of the few Avatar fans who has not seen it. I know it's bad, so that's tough because you're going in with preconceived notions.
It'll be. That's why I also watch.
But I will try really hard to cleanse my mind. I love Harry Potter, and I just told you that I didn't like a Harry Potter movie as much. So I'd like to think I can step into that clear-minded realm and and review that. That would be fun. But long story short, this one at 8.5.
I don't know about fun. It's honestly, there's some bad things in it.
That's believable. That's very believable. And don't even get me started on some of the bad stuff I saw, even in the previews of upcoming movies. Ugh, what a terrible slate. Anyways, the 8.5 for this one does rank very highly, and we were very close on our scores, obviously. So, very good episode overall. I don't want to spend too much time wrapping up because I think we're running over time here, and I don't want to keep you from getting to the movies. Got reviews to put out, other movies to see, other reviews to make. But overall, it's a great episode. We both liked it. I think both of us would happily. I said it probably wouldn't be a great first episode to like share with somebody as their first episode of Avatar, because the Zuko thing would be very confusing. But it is a very good standalone episode.
Yeah, you have to know where Zuko started off at, I think. Or you at least have to know where Zuko started off in like the first couple episodes where he's just a jerk.
You gotta hate him for like 10 episodes before you can really appreciate this one. I think that's fair. But it stands alone, probably not just for us too. I think a lot of people really enjoy this episode. So, Chris, I won't keep you any longer. A lot of fun, as always. Enjoy the movie, and I look forward to seeing a review in the near future.
All right.
I will talk to you later. Have a good one.